As Kiwis, we've always loved our great outdoors. We've done things like bring the black robin back from extinction. We've protected our unique cultural heritage, and we've provided natural places for people to enjoy. But there is still more to do. The Department of Conservation needs your help. We're looking for people just like you to help protect what makes New Zealand great.
Our environmental group at school is known as Sprouts.
Mitre New Zealand have been a proud sponsor of Tākehī Rescue.
We sponsor the jewel gecko in Otago and in Canterbury.
Wherever yellow-eyed penguins are found, that's where the Yellow-eyed Penguin Trust does its work.
There's all sorts of things that we can do as custodians of the land.
Oh, most definitely. You get a huge sense of satisfaction knowing that you've contributed.
Our aim is to double conservation in 20 years. It's an ambitious goal, but that's why we need you to help out and make a difference.
I've been involved in conservation for as long as I can remember. Here on Quarantine Island, I'm a caretaker along with my family, and we do a lot of work around tree planting and releasing. We've got quite a strong community here of people who come over and do work. I would hate for anything to change, for us to lose any of this beauty.
We're just on the edge of suburban Dunedin, underneath the St Clair Golf Course, and this is an extraordinary place. On the cliffs here there's a colony of fairy prawns. It's the only place in the world that fairy prawns are on the mainland, and that's because the cliffs are so steep that rats can't get to them. Well, this part of the project, actually getting the netting up, getting the fence just right, we're doing it all by volunteers, and I'm out here every weekend, and we've got some people coming out during the week. I really thrive working with volunteers because they're so keen, and they will do things that you can't pay people to do.
I think there's like a certain sense of camaraderie with all the other volunteers. You know, you're all pitching in together to do something. Normally you're fairly like-minded people and pitching in together, so yeah, that's kind of one of the key things for me.
Well, my main work with community is with the Wakatipu Wilding Conifer Control Group. We have every single landowner right around the lake all involved. So they're all either putting in money or time, resources to do wilding pine work on their land. We are supported by the local council, obviously the department. The other part of the group is volunteers. We have, I forget the exact figure, but it's somewhere in the vicinity of 300 or 400 people days per year. So yeah, major work with volunteers as well.
The Yellow-eyed Penguin Trust was established in 1987. It was the first single species charitable trust in New Zealand. Over the years, we've moved from a totally volunteer organisation to an organisation employing 5 full-time equivalent staff, but still assisted in so many ways by dozens and dozens of volunteers to enable us to achieve our conservation objectives.
Well, I guess on a small scale locally, there's an important relationship for the department and iwi with Huriawa Peninsula, whereas co-management is in place there. And I think on a larger scale, probably the return of the buff weka to Central Otago area is a big project that both the department and iwi have been involved in and continue to be. There are so many challenges in a conservation sense for both parties that I think it's really important that we do endeavour to pull together.
We are an enviro school, so we do want to pass on to kids that excitement for the natural world and where things come from, how things start, and planting and watching things grow and learning about plants and trees is all part of that. And the older kids can guide the younger ones, and we get that information out there across a generation, which is really special.
One of the rewarding parts of my job is that I sit on the Dunedin City Council's Biodiversity Fund committee, so I see all of these applications coming in from farmers, from community groups that are really keen to protect, say, a little bit of bush or a particular species that they can see real value in.
I looked into the stream one day and I saw some fish that I weren't sure what they were. I talked with the man from Fish and Game and he identified them as the giant cockapoo. Well, I think the special thing for me is that they're a fish that were here before the trout, and the fact that they're a native. They need grass and they need plant life growing out on the edge of the water, and if we let the cattle do their thing, that just really reduces the amount of available grass for that. Well, the fence has started, if you look over to our right, we're about 2 kilometres down that way, back to another kilometre or so up behind me. So we've got quite a big area that we've fenced off with single wire fencing.
Orokonui Ecosanctuary is a project which is trying to restore this whole valley here above Waitati. It involves a fence that's almost 9 kilometres long. It's over 300 hectares. No one's really operated on this scale in the South Island before. Well, we're trying to restore the forest and reintroduce a species that have been lost here for a very long time. So we started with kaka and followed that up by saddlebacks, by South Island robin, by kiwi.
We operate in Aspiring National Park and on Lake Wanaka out to the nature reserves out there. We do guided walks and we do nature tours effectively. Just having been involved for the 4 years that we've been planting, we've planted about 1,200 trees out there with different projects. That is a win-win situation for the Department of Conservation, for us as a company, because we give people the opportunity to plant a tree who maybe never ever planted a tree before in their lives. They're giving back to New Zealand's environment. We leave the island in better condition with every trip, and the Department of Conservation knows that it's being looked after and it's being restocked with the original forest.
New Zealand's got 2 conservation projects that we're involved with in the Otago region. The first is the way in which we're supporting DOC with biodiversity projects on the Rootburn Valley, and the second is habitat enhancement for little blue penguin on the Otago Peninsula.
For us 7 years ago, as business owners, we were a little bit, I suppose, reluctant to go into partnership with a government agency like DOC, but over the years we've been able to really closely align our brand and our business with the values of conservation in New Zealand.
It's really good for our staff. They feel like they're connected to this little animal. We get out and we do some stuff in the field occasionally, and that's really good for the team building and things like that.
DOC is a great partner for New Zealand because it enables us to cover off 2 of our key objectives. One, they enable us to make a contribution to the environment through our conservation programs, but they're also a big player in the tourism market, and therefore they're a logical partner for us.
We've got a very active mountain biking club here, and they've started their own sites. They've come to us with proposals for places like 7 Mile, and they've created a whole series of tracks there. This year they came to us with a big idea of creating a whole lot of single tracks on conservation land, private land, council land, and we've really got them behind that.
We've got a very special environment in New Zealand, and we really do need to look after that.
Yeah, I think we do feel like we're making a difference.
It's something good that you can do for everyone and for yourself.
That's why I get out and plant trees. It's because it is fun and rewarding.
Whether you're the sort of person who likes to think big or muck in and get your hands dirty, you can make a difference. What's more, you'd be doing something that's fun and healthy too. So what are you waiting for? Let's get out there and make New Zealand the greatest living space on Earth.
Home